Hey guys, it's Allie from the blog Hand Gathered Home. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Allie. I'm a mom who loves DIY, simple living, and making a house into a home on a budget. So today I'm going to share with you guys 10 different things that I love to get from the thrift store to decorate my home on a budget. First is frames. I love getting picture frames from the thrift store. I try to look for frames that I already like as is, but sometimes I just buy frames that are ugly or that I just don't like to spray paint them and add a matte, and that has worked out really well for me. I think you can see the frames behind me, but those are all thrift store frames, and I just really love to get a quality frame for a really low price. With frames, I basically look for the right shape or size, and then I usually end up either painting them or adding a matte or both, just to give it an elevated look. I have a video about how to make frames look more expensive, and I will link that down below. Number 2 is mirrors. I feel like I see mirrors at the thrift store all the time, and a lot of times they're cute, or at least they have potential. Again, I usually look through the lens of like, I can paint that. So I definitely keep an eye out for mirrors. I have a mirror in my bathroom downstairs that is from the thrift store, and it was maybe $20, and I'm super happy with it. I also have a mirror above my mantle that is from the thrift store, also maybe $20, $25, which really, they are good sized mirrors. That's not a bad price at all. 3 is candlesticks. I find cute brass candlesticks all the time. I've also found a lot of other types of candlesticks, and again, keep in mind you can always paint it, but I have found all sorts of candlesticks from the thrift store, and they're usually like $1 to $3, I would say, and I just am a big fan. Number 4 is artwork. I have found lots of good artwork from the thrift store. I will say it's not always, you won't always find some on your first try. I'm going to link a video down below of a thrift flip Goodwill artwork project that I did. I found these 3 architectural type sketches, and I gave them a little refresh, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So a lot of artwork that I have in my house, I would say most of the artwork besides printed family photos are from the thrift store. Number 5 is pottery or vases. I love to get some good vases. I try to get big vases as I'm working on staying away from littler decor items, and I'm trying to go a little more minimal with bigger vases. So the other day I did grab this really pretty big round vase from the thrift store. It's probably like this big, and it was a shiny pink when I bought it, and if I decorated with pink I would probably have left it as is, but I don't really use pink for some reason. So anyway, I gave it a dark gray black baking soda treatment, if you will, which I will link a video down below with another vase that I documented that process on. So go check that out if you're wondering what I'm talking about, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It just looks a little more rustic, and it's like almost a black, like a dark gray black color now. So I just stuck some greenery in it for the moment, but I'm going to try to get some good stems, maybe some sticks, honestly, so we'll see. Number 6 is baskets. Anytime I see a good basket, I grab it because they're usually like $1.50, $2, $3, and I just feel like that is a killer deal. So when it comes to organization, I love to get baskets from the thrift store. I just feel like it's such a good use of my money. One thing about going to Target and getting like a $15 basket, or sometimes even more than that, I just cringe at that. Like, I just can't do that. I hate like using so much of my budget for something that is literally for function. So obviously I want it to be pretty, but every time I see a great basket at the store, I just buy it. The thrift store. Number 7 is furniture. I would say probably 90% of my furniture is from the thrift store, with the exception of my couches, my mattresses. Yeah. I try to avoid softer items like that if possible, unless I can look it over and it just looks really well taken care of and clean, and then I would just clean it appropriately. But I would say that 90% of my items in my home are either thrifted or secondhand in some way. Probably my most common way to refresh thrifted furniture is to paint it. I will link a video down below of how to chalk paint furniture. It's super simple, and it just gives it completely new life. Number 8 is pots and planters. I have found so many good indoor pots and planters at the thrift store, but also outdoor stuff. So a lot of times terracotta pots that I find there are like really worn looking, and I really like that rather than like brand new from the store. So I love to do that. And then I also found a lot of cute like planters for my indoor plants. I usually just put them in a plastic grow pot, and then I stick them right inside of the planter so that I can adjust and change them out pretty easily. Number 9 is a little less home decor related, but it's still pertaining to the house and things you see. But wooden toys, I find like Montessori type wooden toys all the time. And like, while that's not exactly home decor, it's something that is seen, and I feel like I much prefer to see cute wooden toys than like primary colored plastic toys. And obviously that's not, realistic in every category of life, but I just feel like I can find them so cheaply, and then I feel less bad donating them whenever we're done with them. So I love to grab some cute wooden toys from the thrift store. So number 10 is lamps. I love to get lamps from the thrift store. I feel like lamps are something that if you go to the normal store, they can be kind of expensive. And if you want like a really quality lamp, then they're definitely expensive. I find is if you go to the thrift store, you can find like older, really nice, high quality lamps, and just take them home and paint them and put a new shade on them. A lot of times I find really nice shades at the thrift store. So that is one way that I love to get lamps. I rarely ever buy a new lamp. I just really love to get thrifted lamps, and usually I end up spray painting them, and some of my favorite lamps in my house are thrifted lamps. Just a little pro tip, if you are buying lamps in any capacity, either the thrift store or the normal store, I like to get lamps that take up space, that are like more visually interesting. So whether they're like a big globe or like kind of a gourd shape, I prefer that over just like the long skinny lamps, just because it requires less decor, because they feel like they take up more space and they add more style without extra stuff. So that's my favorite way to use a lamp, and I love to get thrift store lamps. I hope you found this list helpful, and I hope you feel inspired to get out to your local thrift store and see what you can find. Some other places that you might find some secondhand stuff, it doesn't have to be a thrift store necessarily, but estate sales, garage sales, flea markets, antique stores, Facebook Marketplace. You could do Craigslist. I don't really do Craigslist anymore. I prefer Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes there's local buy and sell groups. I'm in a mom's group in my area that sells a lot of stuff, and I find a lot of good stuff there, and I sell a lot of stuff there. So anything like that is really great for finding secondhand items. I will say, to be successful at the thrift store, a lot of times it takes multiple times of going, mostly just because you never know what you're going to find. So a lot of times I'll go and maybe I'll find one or two things, maybe I'll find nothing, but then there are times when I go and I find a bunch of stuff. So definitely, if you have things that you're wanting specifically, have a list for sure and see what you can find. But I would encourage you to go at least once a week, sometimes more if you can. If there's one like by work or by your house, like just pop in real fast and kind of go through the aisles and see what you can find. And if you don't find anything, I feel like it can be a pretty quick thing, just in and out. Obviously, if you have kids to take in and out of car seats, like that's another thing. But I would just encourage you to try often. I have a free ebook on how to decorate from the thrift store, and you can find that below. It's just kind of more in depth about what we just talked about, and you can find more ideas down there. So definitely go look at that. If you haven't yet, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the bell while you're at it so you're notified every time I post a new video.